Julian, a name synonymous with Chicago's skyline. A man who sculpted glass and steel into monuments of ambition. But Julian, the architect, was also a master builder of another kind, constructing walls of blame, brick by ego-filled brick. In his world, every setback, every delayed project was the fault of incompetent contractors or short-sighted investors. He never once considered that the flaw might be in the blueprint of his own character. His world came crashing down not from a structural failure, but from a personal one. A public meltdown at a high-rise construction site. A tirade of insults hurled from 40 stories up. The fallout was swift. A suspended license and a career on the brink of collapse. His mentor, a wise old architect named Elias, saw the truth. Julian didn't need another project. He needed perspective. So he sent him far from the city's noise, to a quiet coastal town in Maine. The task, not to design a new marvel, but to help rebuild an old, storm-battered lighthouse. When Julian arrived, salt-laced wind whipping at his designer coat, he was furious. A lighthouse? This was a joke, a punishment. But Elias had one simple, unbreakable rule. Julian was to work alongside the local crew, but he was forbidden from speaking or giving a single order. For 30 days of silence. The first few days were torture. He saw a beam placed a fraction of an inch off center, a joint that wasn't perfectly flush. The old Julian would have erupted. Now, he had to bite his tongue until it bled. The rule was clear. Every time he felt the urge to snap, he had to walk away, down to the shore, and wait for the anger to pass. So he walked, again and again. He stood at the edge of the continent, watching the relentless waves crash against the rocks. He'd think, these fools, they're wasting time, they're ruining it. But with each wave, another thought would surface, quieter, more persistent. Why am I so angry? What if I'm wrong? Why do I need to control every single movement? In the enforced silence, with only the ocean as his audience, Julian finally started to hear. He heard the echo of his own arrogance. He saw that his obsession with controlling others was just a frantic distraction from his own lack of inner discipline. He wasn't a leader. He was a tyrant. And his empire was crumbling because its foundation was hollow. Slowly, something inside him shifted. He stopped fighting the tide of his own frustration. He began to watch the local crew, truly watch them. He saw the quiet pride in their work, the patient skill honed over generations. He realized that every minute he would have spent yelling was a minute stolen from achieving true perfection. He picked up his own tools. He stopped trying to direct the symphony and started focusing on playing his own instrument flawlessly. Back in his small rented room at night, he would pull out his sketch pad, but instead of grand towers, he drew the lighthouse, refining the details with a focus and clarity he hadn't felt in years. He wasn't just drawing a structure, he was rediscovering the art of creation itself. Months passed. The 30 days of silence came and went, but Julian found he preferred the quiet. His hands, once soft from pointing fingers, were now calloused from hard work. His voice, once a weapon of criticism, was now used for quiet encouragement. The lighthouse stood tall again, its stone walls solid, its lantern ready. The night they relit the lamp, its beam cut a powerful, steady arc through the darkness, a beacon of resilience. One day, a rival architect from Chicago came to visit, expecting to find Julian broken. A laughingstock. He found Julian on the bluffs, staring out at the sea, a sketchpad in his lap. The rival started to mock him, sneering about his fall from grace. But Julian didn't rise to the bait. He simply turned, offered a calm, knowing smile, and remained silent. The message was clear. He hadn't just rebuilt a lighthouse. He had rebuilt himself, stone by patient stone. For more stories of transformation and grit, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.